I was transferred to PCU after that. I was badly hallucinating during the transfer. My vision hasn't improved, but I started seeing some bright dots of pink, yellow, green colors that followed me in the direction I was looking. And to tell the truth, after nearly 8 months after I was discharged from the hospital, this problem only gotten worse. And when I see a whole bundle of these dots, they prevent me from seeing what's happening in front of me. And they also make me feel nauseous. They also sometimes cause a feeling of deja vu, like I see some image and I'm trying to recognize what I'm seeing, but that image disappears the same time the dots disappear. So I don't have enough time to recognize that image, like what exactly is happening in front of me. This whole thing might be triggered by the medicine I'm taking, and I've been taking quite a lot. Or it might be the damage of my optic nerves, so I won't know until I finish taking the pills, and I have honestly no idea when that's gonna happen. Anyways, back to my PCU days in the hospital. Another problem that I had was with my hearing. Sometimes I stopped here for a minute or two, and the doctors were checking my ears, but they were perfectly fine. So again, the issue was with my brain. I also couldn't listen to the music. Like once I listened to a song, every song that I listened after that sounded exactly like the song that I listened before that. I know it sounds crazy. I don't even know if that makes sense. But that's what I experienced for almost a month, I think. Even when I didn't listen to anything on a certain day, I heard some non-existent song in a hospital hall somewhere, and it just drove me crazy, as you can imagine. Gradually, over some time, the tube from my stomach and my throat was removed. Gradually, because they replaced it with something else, and then with something else. So I was learning to eat again, and I was on different special diets, obviously. So one more scary thing that I would like to share with you happened to me when they took me to some test that actually never happened, because suddenly it seemed to me that everyone in the room, like all the nurses, were singing and not talking. And I started laughing like a crazy person, and decided that I'm gonna die in the matter of minutes. I asked my nurse to call my boyfriend and give me the phone to tell him that I'm about to die and I wanted to say goodbye. It seemed to me that the nurse and my boyfriend were singing as well, and I cannot even imagine how much I scared my boyfriend, but I wasn't myself at that time. When I hanged up, I reset my phone, and I actually lost consciousness. It's hard to explain, but I felt like I actually died. In a while, I started hearing voices. Like a lot of people came, a lot of nurses, but I tried to move, but I couldn't. And I also couldn't open my eyes. I felt like a hard pinching on my feet, but it didn't help. I sensed how the nurses were lost. And then one of the doctors injected some syringe in my chest, and it made me wake up. So the nurses brought me to my hospital ward, and I fell asleep. And when I woke up the next day, I felt relatively fine. So the doctors conducted a few tests on me the next day, like they did MRIs and CAT scans, and those tests showed that the inflammation of my brain was reducing. In the meantime, I was learning to speak better, to walk again with a walker at first and then without it. In general, I spent about a month in a coma, and then 2 more months in a hospital. You can consider me lucky, because most people with this poorly studied disease have been less fortunate. As for right now, I have some memory difficulties, vision, hearing problems, some auras, that's a whole other story, some seizures. I'm still taking medications, and some of them are very addictive. Every half a year I do Rituxan, I hope I pronounce it correctly, which is like a chemo, and it helps me feel better. So as you understand, I'm still in recovery. Anyways, my neurologists still do not understand what triggered my disease, and sadly that's the case with most of the patients. So, well, if you're suffering or recovering from this disease and have any questions or just want to talk, you are more than welcome to comment or to leave a message in my Instagram. The link will be right below. And thank you for finding time to watch my story. Stay healthy, guys. Thank you.